All over London there are derelict sites, and Paul Talling knows how to find them.
I love exploring derelict London buildings. There's that sense of adventure, a sense of the unknown.
He's on a mission to visit every location.
There's several hundred around London.
No matter how hard it is to get to.
There's a certain excitement when I stumble across a new derelict place of just what am I going to find?
He's not recommending anyone else does this, because it can be dangerous and often involves trespassing. But for just a few days, we're going to follow him to find out where he ends up. Our first stop is a huge site near Eltham.
This is called the Butterfly Lane ground, previously the home of Welling Football Club until the 1970s, and later Eltham Town Football Club. This site has been derelict for the best part of 10 years.
5 years ago, the clubhouse was gutted by fire, and now nature has taken over.
And this is the pitch. Remains of some old goalposts over here. It's very sad seeing these old sports grounds all dilapidated. I like to imagine the ghost of footballers still playing here. The more successful teams that played here, Welling moved to a larger ground, and Eltham Town moved to a different ground, and just nobody replaced them. I just stumbled upon this one day and out walking. This is trespassing, but it's only civil trespass, not a criminal matter. If I'm caught on site and asked to leave, then I totally cooperate.
Another derelict site that's not quite so off the beaten track, but still unknown to most, is on the River Thames near Woolwich.
This was a ferry across the Mersey, as sung about by Jerry and the Pacemakers.
So ferry cross the Mersey, 'cause this land's the place I love.
It is the Royal Iris, the former Mersey ferry, built in the early 1950s. Out of all the derelict finds in London that I've come across, this is one of the most unusual.
So ferry.
Once she was an icon of the Mersey, but for 15 years she's been slowly decaying on the Thames. And she ended up here because of plans that went wrong.
When the ferry was decommissioned, it was used as a nightclub. Then it was moved to Cardiff, and after unsuccessful plans to convert it into a nightclub there, it was towed to the Thames and has been left here ever since.
And here I'll stay.
It's such a lovely looking boat, and it is such a shame that it couldn't just be converted into something else or even taken back to Liverpool.
Here I'll stay.
It can be dangerous and sometimes involve trespassing.
Love exploring derelict places that are all overgrown. Here it is. This place has been in this state since 1992. We're near Dartford, and this used to be a firework factory. This is trespassing. I don't recommend it. However, trespass is mainly a civil offence, not a criminal offence. Police don't usually get involved, but if I ever am caught by security, then I just leave the premises, totally cooperate.
Paul Talling believes the risks are worth it when he stumbles across something new. And this, he says, was one of his biggest finds.
The design goes back to the 1930s. There's over 40 huts on this site. They're separated quite far apart, so should there be an explosion, the whole lot aren't going to catch fire. This here is a firework construction hut. Used to be occupied by men making the fireworks. You can see the safety catches here for the door are actually made of wood rather than metal to avoid any possible sparks. There were several hundred people working on this site. The fireworks factory was abandoned due to competition from overseas. At the moment, there's other sites in the Dartford area that are being developed. Maybe this will come later.
When he's not out exploring, Paul Talling likes to write about his discoveries. And he got into this because the job he used to have as a housing officer in Brixton got too dangerous.
Had several experiences around South London involving knives, one particular incident involving a gun as well, where two of my colleagues were shot in my presence, and I thought that's the time to give the job up. We were repossessing a property that we believed to be abandoned. The inhabitant opened fire once we went in through the door. I was not hit, but two of my colleagues were.
Paul Talling says even though his new career still has its dangers, and is certainly controversial. He's happier now.
And now we're near Epping, and this is the best yet.
It's an abandoned military base that would have been used to protect London if the country had ever been invaded.
This was built in 1889 to store guns and ammunition for local troops, and there were several of these in a circle all around London. If we had been invaded and the enemy had come as close as this, it would be extremely frightening. Here was one of the gun turrets. It would have worked by the soldiers sitting where I am with a gun going through this hole and using it to aim at any aircraft. There's some steps down here that looked like an old air raid shelter.
Again, it's another huge derelict site, but he won't be stopping here.
I've lost count of the amount of derelict places I've discovered in London. I'm going to find every single one of them. I shall just keep going as long as I can keep walking.